right, welcome to another post-Thanksgiving Fragments of Silicon review session. Two reviews up this week and two impressions. We had some complications with one of the games, and this was discovered a little too late to switch it out with something else. And the other game is an early access thing that we couldn't really put off any longer. But we'll get to those when we get to those. The first up is a review of a game called CrossKrush. Let's see here. So this is a puzzle game. It's a well puzzler, which you don't see too often these days. For those who aren't, a well puzzler is often more known as a falling block puzzle game, but it's really anything with a, think of a well. In this case, a street. You play as an elderly couple who is dealing with a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy situation, or at least adjacent. That is to say, someone has built a bypass by their home, and their idyllic lifestyle is being muddied up by all the traffic. So they've decided to enact in mass terrorism, i.e. you've got to blow up all the cars. Or do you? The answer is actually no. So you can see here, there are actually a couple of car types you don't blow up that are taxis and ambulances. Anyway, fairly unique premise in the sense that I can't really think of another game that combines this confluence of elements together. That being said, it's definitely a Radalaikia game. That is to say, in spite of the intriguing premise, it's fairly bland. But Petty's doing the demonstration here.
So the green square is what, a landmine?
Basically, it's where you put the explosion.
But then you, trigger it remotely, or?
Yes. It's basically remote detonation, and you see that car there, you blow that up, and it'll blow up all the cars around you, and that enhances your multiplier. And there's and I believe the white card that allows you to have multiple remote detonations, and that factors into your multiplier gain. See right there, and you blow that up because the cars will advance gradually. And you can only really set one charge per movement. It won't allow you blow up a car, then you blow up another. No. You will blow up, and then they'll move, and then you will be able to reset. And that is important for later on in the game when, things get much more crowded. There you see the taxi, you blow that up, and you will lose points. And obviously the object here is to blow up the bad cars and, don't blow up the good cars, which is easy enough in the early going, but once again, the later stages, you're going to have some interesting mixtures, and I'll be honest, there are going to be times when you're probably not going to be able to blow up all the cars safely, or really all the cars at some points.
Hey, Petty, you slightly misspelled the name of the game here on the overlay.
CrossKrush.
Oh.
Well, it's too late. Oops. Not the first time that's happened.
We can just keep going. I just figured it would be better to point it out than not.
I guess. Anyway, at least it wasn't somebody's name this time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. Anyway, so that's basically it in terms of the core conceptualizations. But some other factors that show up later on in the game are, after certain explosions, all of the other cars will drive down.
I noticed that after one of the white cars.
Yeah, that will happen en masse more often when you in later stages. And for every car that passes the finishing line, let's say, you will lose points. Now, also when you get hit by a car, it will stun lock you for a bit, which is another factor. When I'm talking a lot about the end game because that's where this thing really picks up. Yeah, I guess you can whack the cars, but once again, that's not something that's going to help you all that much later on.
Well, it looked like it might be useful in situations where there's like a TNT car adjacent to something you don't want to blow up.
Yeah, there are still certain situations, and there are power-ups, but they're pretty rare, I found. Like there's a power-up that makes you big, and and there's another power-up where you use a psychic wave to destroy cars. I only found those.
I guess old people, well known for their ability to psychically destroy automobiles. It's my dad's birthday. I have to ask him if he's developed that
yet. I don't think so. This game has kind of a faux 1920s, 1930s vibe going for it, probably because old people. You see the title cards look like they're from silent movies, and it's got an old school jazzy soundtrack, which is
kind of Art Deco, I think, is the one that is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which, once again, that was a prevailing art style in like the 1930s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But unfortunately, the aesthetical flourishes didn't extend to the active play sessions. You look at the actual graphics here, and this could be any game, and that's been my big problem with the presentation. It was a nice half measure, but this art is mostly functional but flavorless. Which is a hallmark of a lot of Rodalikia games we cover. And this is definitely one, and I think that this is one that they funded or handled themselves, given the publisher situation. But regardless, now as far as the gameplay, it holds up a bit better than the aesthetical values, but it's still surprisingly unremarkable. I think a lot of that has to do with the lack of a fail state. Like you can't really lose a level. You can
you just end up with a score of 0.
I guess so. I never tested that out, but if there's a fail state, I never hit it. And also, the game is exceedingly short. It's about 10 levels. It'll take you about an hour to blitz your way through all of the content. Now, clearly, they were angling for replay value. I just don't think the game is that interesting enough to warrant such a thing. The central hook is all right, but it never grabbed me like a really good puzzle game can. Also worth noting, this does have a 2-player mode. We could not test that because we did get 2 codes, but they came from different entities for 2 different platforms.
So no crossplay then?
No. Shock upon shocks, this game isn't popular enough to warrant that. No.
I mean, in an ideal world, it would be standard.
Obviously.
But also, I understand that it's hard to program.
Yeah, I mean, in an ideal world, it would be, but this is not an ideal world now, is it? Yeah, and seeing Petty's encountering the situation I'm talking about. Potentially. You get that, but imagine no TNT car.
Mm-hmm.
like that's probably the higher game to be played here. Which combination of cars to blow up in which order to get the maximum score. It's just, I'm going to assume that there are people dedicated enough to do that, because there usually are.
The road does get wider.
Yes, yes, it does. Get a, but I just don't see your average player being too invested in this. Like, let's see. So pricing. Well, we're recording this during the Thanksgiving Steam sale, so virtually everything there is on sale. I mean, not everything, but like this game is. And this game does clock in at the standard Radalaikia price, even on PC at $5. Just the PC version is $2.49, and honestly, that's the price I would recommend this for. $5. Honestly, I think the big problem is a lack of content. Like 10 stages just wasn't enough to justify like $5. Yeah, 10. Yeah, I mean, here's the way how they build this: 10 levels with 10 puzzles each. It's like each car wave is its own puzzle. A total of 100 challenges. Yeah, it still lasted at best an hour, guys. Like, and ultimately, it's another dead average Radalaikia game.
This would be something probably more fun on mobile.
Probably, but I don't know. I'm not aware of any mobile version that exists. Mm-hmm. And if there was, that's not really Radalaikia's domain. And
yeah,
I don't know if they contract out to any mobile developers.
That would involve an interview.
I've tried, not to no success so far. Like, you would think after how many of these that we've reviewed that they would be amiable, but then again, maybe they actually listen to what we say. I'm like,
that is a very good point.
But yeah, it's okay. Another one for that pile. So yeah, that'll about do it for CrossKrush here. Be sure to tune in after the break, as Petty Fan will be giving his impressions with Unrailed.